Why, hello there, a nice tail here. Failing to deploy. Hopefully you're having a better day than me, because I'm already failing. But, today I'm bringing you a review of this Wee Knives Gavco design Highfin. I believe this is based... I mean, it looks a lot like his nurse design. Everything Gavco does is named after sharks, and... Well, this one is particularly fitting with this sort of diamond pattern texture standing in for shark skin, and yeah, it just all works. And as you can see, it's really good. Like this is really good. I'll just be honest with you. I like this knife a lot, but I'm not without one small complaint. And I guess it's not really a small complaint. Well, we'll get there when we get there. For now, let's just start on the specs so we can get through this knife. This is the XL Highfin, so there is a smaller version. This is 3.5 inches of blade. I imagine with the sharpening tool, because both of them have it, the small one's not too bad, but it is definitely smaller. I think it's just a 3-inch blade, maybe. It probably wouldn't be too bad, but I like the XL a little bit bigger. I prefer slightly closer to 3.5 inches of blade on most of my knives, so I went with this one. Just under 8.25 overall, 4 3/4 of handle. Let's make some comparisons to the knives that I use as a comparison knives, which are from its sister brand, Civivi. The C is right there. The Civivi Conspirator for a full-size knife, and the Civivi Elementum for our small knife. Get those lined up. And yeah, believe it or not, though it has the same length of actual blade on it that the Conspirator does, the Gavco is just a tiny hint longer. But they're basically the same. It's a full-size knife all around. One thing it is not, however, is thick. The Conspirator, even though this one is fully contoured, the Conspirator is probably a tiny bit thicker at its thickest point. This is not a particularly thick knife. Before I get out the calipers, let's bring out the 2 AA batteries for grip length, as I find this is one of the best comparisons you can make. Everybody can see how big 2 AA batteries are. In your primary grip, you have, if you don't mind wrapping around, which it's not really uncomfortable to wrap around on this knife, even though I don't really have to. I can get my hands in this spot. You have more than 2 AA batteries there, plus you have a very large, very generous choil. I mean, this choil is so large that sometimes you think, like, oh, I'm got so much room to move around on here that I might actually be getting close to the edge when you're never actually getting close to the edge. At least not for my hands. There's a lot of positions you can hold this knife on, and they're all really quite comfortable. Honestly, it's extremely comfortable. Ooh. Come on. Come on, stuff out, mate. There we go. Calipers. Actual thickness. 473 thousandths at its thickest. Really? That's slightly thicker than... No, wait. No, that is thinner than the... Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, I'm not losing my mind. It is slightly thinner than the Conspirator. It's thicker than the Elementum, but thinner than the Conspirator. Where's the blade stock thickness? 125 thousandths? Pretty reasonable, pretty good. Civivi likes their slightly thinner blade stocks. I don't mind that. I, in fact, approve. Behind the edge on this particular one, 14 thousandths behind the edge. It does have a hollow grind on it, though it's the only reason it doesn't come down like ultra thin to like 10 thousandths behind the edge, while it is definitely ultra thin in my opinion. This is actually a very thin sort of feeling 14 thousandths, is because you don't have a very high grind on it, right? If your grind went up here, they could get it super thin, but it's still a really good cutter and a really good performer. No problems whatsoever in that department. Why did my that go back on? Let's get that out of the way. Now, wait, this is a titanium frame lock knife. There is considerable milling inside, so I don't expect this to be particularly heavy, but my guess is around 4 ounces. 4 ounces, 0.01. My guess was dead on there. All right. Hardware, check. T8, T8, T8. Everything is T8, including these thumb studs. Yes. Wow. Yeah, Wii is listening in some areas. Some areas they still need to work on, and I'm going to mention 2 of them. But they're definitely listening, and they're definitely improving. I mean, do you see that action? Wii's used to be tight. That's not tight. Not at all. Okay, so let's see. We're done with the specs, so let's move into actually talking about this thing. It is CPM 20CV, which is the USA-made equivalent of M390, or M390 is the non-USA made made equivalent of CPM 20CV, whichever one you want. Whichever one you want to talk about. Don't care. Civivi and Wii do need to up their M390 just a tiny bit. I think theirs is 59 to 61 typically, though I will say that most of what I've seen when theirs is checked is that it is 60 or over. Let's be honest, everybody wants to see M390 consistently at 61 to 63. They do. I don't blame them for that. It definitely is going to operate better at higher hardness levels, but for some reason, companies can't do M390 very well or easily. In that particular case, if you're going to run soft M390, I'd rather you run well heat-treated S45VN or MagnaCut or S90V, which can be heat-treated slightly lower than M390 as far as I know, or at least to my understanding, and charge the same or for the S45VN a little bit less. That's my personal take on things, but you can stand where you will. This thing should have still pretty darn good edge retention, medium middling toughness, and it should be corrosion resistant because M390 is, or CPM 20CV. This particular one has a Harpoon modified sheep's foot blade. Yeah, let's go with that. As I said already, hollow grind, thumb stud action, big sharpening throw, and the plunge grind ends way back here, so you have basically infinite life on this thing, especially with this hollow grind, because you're going to be able to get it up pretty high before you really start getting too thick. Gavco logo here. I do wish it was just the logo and not... I don't know why companies refuse to put a logo without putting the name of a company directly below it. I mean, why? That's you're double logoing. I don't get it. I mean, especially for Wii, considering they put their logos on the pivot and keep it clean. But whatever, Gavco logo's there. It's not the most obtrusive or ugly things, and the writing, as is true to Wii, I mean, you can barely even see that writing, is pretty small, so it's mostly logo. Where was I? Thumb stud, big flat. Oh, the polished gray finish. Yeah, that's one of the big sells on this thing. This is the polished gray finish that we did, or does, and they're getting better and better at it. This is probably... I've had a couple knives in Wii's polished gray now, and this is the best example they've done. The first example, I actually had a Wii Cybernetic, which was the first knife they ever did in the polished gray, and it was funky. It was splotchy. It was like... It looked like there was splatter or something on the blade in one area, or right around the pivot, or it was the handle, I think, actually, on that one. Because the whole thing was polished gray. And while it was really cool, it was kind of underwhelming. I've seen another Gavco design in polished gray, and this is the third one, I believe, that I've seen in polished gray from Wii. And this one is by far the best. It is smoother than ever. It is nice and reflective. It is a beautiful finish. It is fingerprinty, but it is an absolutely gorgeous finish, in my opinion. Like, I will take this even over, like, semi-polished DLC. This is... If you've ever seen the, what is it? Titanium, I'm not even going to try. There's another finish out there, titanium nitro carbide or something like that has super reflective. It's similar, but not quite even that. It's very unique, and I really like it. Moving on from the blade, because we spent quite a bit of time there, you have bearings in the pivot, in case you couldn't, again, realize that from that action. Stop pin, they use the grand and all-powerful nub at the back end of the tang. I'm going to keep saying that because I love the nub, because the nub is what contacts the stop pin instead of getting anywhere near the sharpening joint. Of course, it wouldn't be a problem on this knife, but it's still good practice to use. Catch your stop pin with the nub instead of the actual bottom of the tang of the knife, please. Lock bar insert for steel, so it's not titanium on titanium. The handles are a beautiful polished bronze, and yeah, it's also subject to oils and everything for a little bit of, polished anodization always is, but, this combination is just stunning. I was contemplating going with the blue and the plain blade, and this is just absolutely worth it. This is really nice. The diamond texturing here is nice and smooth and comfortable, but it does provide just a little bit of texture and a little bit of feel. It's not quite the shark skin that you'd think it would be for the shark design knife, which is a good thing. Titanium pocket clip. Very simple titanium pocket clip, but it is a titanium milled pocket clip, and it's got a continuous rise. Like, this is an excellent pocket clip. It is super functional. It is super comfortable in the hand. No complaints. Got the same finish as the polished gray on the blade, and yeah, this just works. This just works. There's also a flat underneath the pocket clip. That was something else. There's also this flat underneath the pocket clip, so even though I don't think this texture would necessarily tear up your pants, it can't. Nice touch there. The relief cuts are far back, so they're shouldn't interfere too much. It's not like the tallest pocket clip in existence, but it's pretty tall. It's pretty good. I like it. Single standoff, no backspace or anything like that. Keeping things nice and simple. Lock bar access is excellent. You have, not only does it protrude, but it's bowled out really deep. It's really easy to access. And the action is basically insane. Perfectly centered, no play. Beautiful, beautiful execution. I really love this knife. I really do. So, what am I going to complain about? Because, as I said right from the beginning, there were two things that are worth mentioning. As not like complaints, but mentioning. First of all, I am considering, if it wasn't polished gray, I would be considering getting a whole modified cutout. Like the custom has a cutout on the hole instead of thumb studs, and it's got a thumb hole. So I think that would look pretty cool. It looks really good on this model. I've seen modified versions of the smaller version that look really good. I would be tempted to do that, but I'm still undecided. These thumb studs work excellently, as you've pretty much seen. It's got a good detent too, despite being so smooth. That's got a snappy detent. So, the actual issues are, one, and I've noticed this with a couple Wiis, the actual lock bar cutout itself, right here, is a bit sharp. It's not chamfered, and it's not rounded or smooth or anything. It's just a little bit, like, hard-edged, going all the way along. Now, first of all, with a little bit of, I guess technically the pivot also, right around the edges of the pivot, it's a little bit hard lip, so it's a little scrapey. Now, first of all, you don't really come in contact with either of these things. I don't feel it. It's not making a difference to me here. I'm not like, oh my god, it's scraping me. No, there are some knives there where I've had the lock bar cutout be quite uncomfortable because it was sharp and hard and angular. Medium uncomfortable, I should say. Like the Jack Wolf Tango, that small knife that I've shown on the channel multiple times. You can go back and see the review for that, or whatever. That thing also has a very hard lock bar cut, and because it's such a small knife and the area that you actually put your finger on you're like right in it and you can feel it, especially if you go to move or something like that. This one, it's basically irrelevant. It's just for a knife like this at this price point, I'd kind of like to see that treated a little bit better. I gotta be honest, it's not a negative. I'm not really holding it against this knife. It's just I think it could be better, and it probably should be better if they're gonna charge this kind of price point. Because that's just, I don't know if that's coming across hearing-wise, but it's just a little snaggy. Fortunately, the design does not make it actually affect you. So, again, that's why I'm not holding against it. The second slight complaint is the price point on this knife. This is a $300 knife. And I believe I said this exact same thing on the other Wii Gavco that I reviewed, which was the Epaulet. This is an excellent knife. It feels a little tiny bit high at $300. It does. I mean, it is a super basic standoff knife. I mean, if they put a backspacer in there or did better finish work here on this cutout, maybe. It's beautiful and it works excellently, but at $300, it's a tiny bit more expensive than I would. Not far off. I can totally see this being a $275 knife. I know that doesn't seem like, if you're going to pay that kind of money already, for people who don't pay that kind of money, I imagine seeing that much of a difference is either irrelevant or makes all the difference in the world, considering they're not, some people aren't buying knives at this level of expense. Stupid people are, right? Insane people are. Me, mostly. And many, many others, but enthusiasts. However, I kind of think that if you're going to hit that $300 mark, I'd like to see just either a tiny bit more fit and finish, just come full circle, or this knife would feel a lot better at $475 to $480. $280. $480, good lord. Yeah. Now, again, to be fair, you do have a very vibrant polished ano and this smoky sort of gray polish. Is it a DLC? I'm not even sure. And they definitely elevate the knife. They do. I mean, in the past, and a lot of other companies, you're just getting sort of like a stonewash at $300, and just stonewash tie at $300. From some of the big companies, some of the smaller or cheaper ones like Kubi can manage to do these things at much lower prices, but I don't know what they're doing. All I know is the more prestigious, more fit and finish focus, historically higher quality, though Kubi's making some serious strides in that realm. Companies might offer a little bit less at that $260, $270 price point. So you could make the argument that it is doing more and enough. It really depends on you. I mean, it's of course it always depends on you and what you want to pay and what you're okay with paying. This one, for me, was interesting enough to say, yeah, you know what? $300, I'm willing to pay for that. The Epaulet, I got that in to check from White Mountain Knives. Always shout out to White Mountain Knives. They sent that in for me to check out. I sent it back to them, and it was great and super nice and super helpful for the channels. They support people. That one I wouldn't have kept at $300. That one also had just solid gray polish and some... like, it had some holes that didn't really work with the way it was textured and everything like that. That one felt like a $250 knife. This one feels like a $275 knife to $280. They're both at $300. It's not as grievous of an issue for this one. so I'm not going to say it's too far off or complain. Again, these are nitpicks, extreme nitpicks. I really like this knife. So, I'm being harsh to find something, but other than that, this is a really, really, really good knife. And it's definitely showing areas where we has absolutely improved, and it showcases an area where maybe we could still slightly improve. But the Highfin XL is pretty darn cool, in my opinion, and Gavco knives always are. Also, I guess, to be fair, this is a collab, and as soon as you put another designer's name on the design, if you have them, if it's not an in-house design, it's automatically going to add a little bit of money. So, again, this gets away with it. If this was an in-house design, and I was looking at the same thing, $250 all day, put Gavco's, I can see you tossing up that to $280-ish. It's still a little high, but overall, I'm still really, really happy with this knife, and I really, really like it. So, that's all from me. I think we're done here. Let me know your thoughts on their pricing. I mean, if you even buy knives at this price point. If you don't, just say I'm insane, because I am. Completely. Utterly insane. Yes. A lot of enthusiasts are, right? But you do something because you really love it, not because necessarily it's truly worth the kind of money that people are, especially nowadays. But as far as a usable knife goes, this is actually really good. It's got design, it's got usability, functionality. Execution is pretty close to top tier. No complaints from me, other than that slight little overpriced territory. But honestly, with this much on display here, I think they'll get away with it just fine. So I'm going to end things here. Say thank you very, very much for watching and listening to my little rant and ramble and stuff. I know sometimes I come down on things a little too harsh. Sometimes I'm a little too nitpicky. Sometimes I hold certain things to standards that are maybe above the standards I should hold them to. But if I see anything at all, I think it's kind of like my job, basically, essentially. I mean, this isn't my job, but it's essentially my duty to say something about anything I see. Whether that's a budget knife or an extremely expensive knife. If something doesn't feel quite right, I have to point it out, because ideally, if anybody watches this, I can maybe help them make a decision one way or another about something, if they ever consider the knife in question in the video. So, hopefully I'm providing some value to someone somewhere at some point. If I provided some value to you, let me know down below. I like seeing that. I've recently had someone say that they liked my review and brought the knife that I brought to their attention. So I'm super happy with that. Now, I'm done with my talk. I'm done with my self-congratulations, I guess. I'm not really, but I'm done. Review over. Thanks for watching. Consider liking and subscribing. I hope to keep improving. I'm trying little increments here and there. I'm going to be putting, well, you'll see it on this, I'm going to be trying to put timestamps into the videos to separate, like, the specs area and the actual review area. I should probably have mentioned that. I should probably continuously mention that on my reviews, because that's what I'm going to be doing from now on. And that's everything. So, see you later. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Thanks for being on the channel, honestly. Bye for now.